What's good, people? This weekend, I was literally live with Miss Heidi Black on her YouTube page. And when she was live, she was talking about 90 days. So I decided to come in and me and her started chopping up, giving our views and our thoughts on the 90-day shows currently. All right. And to be fair, I do go in there every now and then as well, and we do chop it up and we do speak about 90 Day Fiancé. But this time round, things were different. This time round, as we was talking about 90 Day, Josh decided to come in and have a conversation. Now, as you guys may or may not know, I recently dropped a video of me doing an interview with Lily. Okay, so therefore, when he came in, I made sure, Miss Heidi Black made sure, and also her community made sure that we was asking him questions regarding the interview and regarding what Lily had said, as well as also asking him some of the things that went down on the show that did not necessarily sit right with us. So, with that being said, if you want to check out the full video itself in particular, where you hear us talk about other things regarding 90 Day Fiancé, I recommend you go to a page and you watch this clip, this video itself in particular, and also at the same time you subscribe, so therefore you're also in tune to whenever she does go live on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, okay? And this is when she talks about 90 Day and other stuff as well, that's also TLC related, as well as other things outside of the reality world as well. So it's not just a channel for just 90 Day, it's a channel for so much more than that, okay? So if you want to go with something different, something fresh, this is the place to be. But with that being said, though, I'm now going to show you guys the interview part of where I'm asking Josh questions, Heidi's asking Josh questions, as well as her community as well. And I promise you now, this one is going to be a good one, but it is going to be entirely up to you folks, whether or not you decide to believe what Josh has to say in terms of him answering all the questions that he gets, or if you feel like he was pretty much avoiding answering the questions. You guys let me know your thoughts, and please don't forget to like this video. Also go to her page and like her video, and also don't forget to subscribe to her page as well as subscribe in it too. But with that being said, let's get into exactly what went down this weekend with me, Miss Heidi, her community, and Josh, okay, the current relevant 90 Day superstar. I mean, my apologies. 90 Day cast member. Yeah, superstars. Yeah. Anyway, let's get it going.
We see that, to me, there is no type of affection between you and Lily at all. There is nothing there. Okay? So the whole time, I know there's a language barrier. I understand that. But you guys were married before you went over there. So what did you think was going to happen when you got there if you guys weren't really getting along before you got there?
Well, so we got married in the USA, and then about 3 weeks later, she had to go back due to her visa. She was on a tourist visa.
Mm-hmm.
And, we still had our struggles. We just wanted to work together, and we wanted to give it the best. So we were apart several months. And that's why, like on the show, when they talk about I didn't have sex for 7 months. Well, that was why, because I lived in USA and she lived in China. So the power of editing is truly amazing.
So you're saying this is all editing?
Due to editing. Everything that's filmed is real, but the power of editing could change everything. Because I arrived January 17th and the wedding ceremony was January 26th.
Okay.
So when they talked about that scene, obviously I wasn't there long, and that was because I was in USA.
So let me ask you, when you got to China, did you guys actually have sex at all while you were there?
Yes, that was in January.
Okay. So
I didn't leave until October 14th.
Okay, because Lily is now on IG everywhere, and she's
Mm-hmm.
really saying some really disparaging things about you. And
Yeah.
MovingMAD up here at the top, Madzie, did you see the video that he did with Lily's because they were in communication throughout the show, but she didn't speak to him till after the show. And she had some pretty disturbing things to say about you.
Yeah, it's a smear campaign, and that's okay. Going through divorce isn't easy. Some people don't know how to handle it. Everyone handles it differently, and that's okay. I just do my lives. I waited for the show because I couldn't talk about my life since January. And, watching the show, I can't defend myself because we have to let the viewers believe what they see on TV. And that's why
And
I do
that's
my
what we were
lives.
doing. Yep.
Yeah. And I just do my lives and focus on me and show my personality. I'm not here to bash other cast members or, talk bad about Lily. It's something I'll never
Oh, I
do.
don't want you to talk bad about Lily because
Oh,
that,
no, no, just in general. But
yeah.
that's just me. I just want to talk about me and let the viewers decide. Okay, they could judge me and who I am, in real life or the TV show.
Well, you didn't come across too good this season, Josh, at all. You
Oh,
really
yeah.
didn't.
Oh,
You
I know.
now, how
But
did you feel about Lily's daughter asking you, why aren't you see, to me that was disgusting. That was very inappropriate. I don't care how old she is. I would never ask any man why he's not effing my mother.
yeah, and I get it. She's an actress, but we get along great. So she did it, both of those, because if there's no drama, there is no episode. We're not on the TV show. And, the that discussion was actually discussed before we were married. So I was upset because I was like, why are we rehashing this for a TV show? So I was pretty upset with that.
So
But
do you
again,
think production had her to rehab? Well, you can't talk about that. So okay.
yes,
Um, Maddie, do
but
you
we
have
actually, oh,
uh-huh.
sorry. But she moved in to the house for quite a while this year. We hung out, traveled, never had an issue. We got along perfect fine. She's sweet, kind. She was upset to hear that we were going through a divorce.
But she didn't seem that she was upset at the reunion that you guys were going through a divorce. I saw her smiling.
Yeah. I definitely think almost 100% that was for drama purposes.
Okay, got you.
Because she lived
Um,
with us and we had a great time.
Maddie, do you have any questions?
Yeah. So the scene where you two go to pay for the wedding,
Hmm.
your card or your phone got declined, from what I remember.
Yes.
What
So,
that? Yeah,
I,
go on, go on.
like I called my bank. I've traveled the world my whole life, so I was well aware. I was prepared. Bank knew. I downloaded Alipay before I got there, so it was flagging for fraud for about a
Ooh.
month. Um, and that's a couple weeks after the wedding ceremony. So that just took time to get that resolved. Even my Alipay still had issues. I could go to the store and buy, a drink, no problem, or we could get a meal, no problem. But a large transaction like that, it wasn't until like a month later I was able to resolve it all. But
Um.
I did have cash, and then I also had another source, and that was paid for. We just don't talk about the other source.
Okay, fair enough. No, I was only asking because, of course, it then made people wonder if you just never had the money in the first place, and the whole thing was just a way to manipulate Lily to just end up paying for it. Obviously, in the
Yeah, no, she
same
didn't pay
season.
for it. Yeah, I used my other source.
Oh, okay, but as I know, obviously you had money in your hand at the time, because you saw your cash in your
Hmm.
hand, but it wasn't clear whether that money was actually yours or if it had just been your brother's money. But that makes sense. But
Yeah, that was mine. So like I had 900 and my brother had three. I was like, Jared, I Apple paid him like literally right on the spot. I was like, here, can I borrow the three? Let me Apple pay you. He's like, no, no, I don't want it. I was like, too bad. Apple paid. You got to take it now. So, luckily we had the cash and then the other source I had.
okay. So at the beginning of the season, you said something along the lines of that you had sold the home that you was living in, and you was now living in your parents until you had to come to China. The money from from you selling the house, what happened to it? Only because throughout the season, obviously Lily kept expressing about how you didn't, how obviously you didn't have any money. But I was thinking, but you had money because you had sold the house. So what happened to that money?
Yeah, so that house I actually sold 3 years ago. So it's not like it was new, just the power of editing. So I sold that 3 years ago. And, I paid off my car, paid off all my credit card debt. I had several surgeries, so I had to pay like 20,000 in surgeries because I still need another one on my neck. And then I had some extra, which, I've used. So, I'm 48. I've worked since I was 15 and a half until the day I left before I went to China. So of course, I had money. You just have to, since I'm not allowed to legally work, I had to make sure it was enough to get me through.
Okay. Heidi, I'll let you ask the next question before I go again.
Yeah, so my question is, I don't know if you've watched anything. MovingMAD is he's a blogger. He covers a lot of shows, and he has a huge following. But in the letter that Lily sent, she stated that your daughter said that you were gay. Did you know that?
No, my daughter knows all my relationships. Um, if she would have ever said that, it would have been joking if she was joking, on a comment. But yeah, no, she definitely knows I'm not. All my relationships have been females. You know, sometimes people, just slander or, they're upset and,
But
you
for
have to save
somebody to
face.
say that she loved you so much and she's posting all these pictures about you
Exactly.
and she's insisting on everybody calling you X, I don't understand why she's posting all of this and rehashing all of this if she wants you to be referred to as her ex and still saying the things she does about you if she's over it. I paid attention on your TikTok, you very seldom talk about her. Or you may mention her name, but you don't
Mhm.
say anything negatively about her.
Correct. Yeah, I believe in privacy. So when I went on the show, because all the things we talked about were talked about before we got married. So when I told him, I said, "Hey, we have no issues." So everything on the show was mentioned from other people before, I even got to China. So I was in shock every scene because it's like, wait a second, why are we talking about this? We already talked about it before we got married. But it was for drama. Some people, if in order to get on the show, you had to have it. But that's, people handle things differently, and she just needs time, to deal with it. And plus, she has a lot of following, saying, "Oh, he's a gaslighter, he's a narcissist, oh, he likes men," so it just feeds into it. Me,
Well,
I
I
don't
did
worry
say you
about
were
the
a
haters.
narcissist. Yeah, I
Hmm?
did say you were a narcissist. I did say that. I did say you were a narcissist because this is the way you came off. Like you
Yeah.
had no feelings, you had no empathy, you had no sympathy. And when you guys were sitting in a restaurant and your brother, Lily, her daughter, they were all telling you what you see, you flipped, your anger was there. It was like you weren't taking in and receiving what was being said to you. Is that the way you are all the time?
No, 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 and that's why I do these lives, and I think so many people realize, and they're like, "Wait a second, who is this?" You are nothing like that, and it's just the power of editing. You have to have that in the show because you got to have the good and the bad. Because unfortunately, most of the viewers, that's what they need and want, and the show knows that. They know that they're going to create this drama. The haters are going to go online. They're going to post and spew all these, things, and that's what makes the money. So that's why I don't feed into it. I'll have haters come in every once in a while. I'm like, you know what? That's okay. It's good to have an opinion. It's just be respectful, be
Yeah,
kind.
that's what I always say. As long as you're respectful, but because I asked you a question, you said, "Well, Lady Red, you watch a TV show," and I'm like, I'm not saying that's what I was speaking on what I saw, and you took offense to it, and I was like, okay. I
Yeah,
was-
because if you read these comments, these haters, they're just,
Well, I
I just
wasn't
like,
being disrespectful in your chat. I was just telling you what I saw. And
yeah.
I was like, okay, he's really a damn narcissist. And that's what I said because the way you responded, I don't know what comments were said before I came in, but the way you responded to me was like, okay, you were quite defensive when I just asked, just like I'm talking to you right now,
Mhm.
is what I was saying to you in your chat.
Yeah, and with words and text messages and chats, it's hard to read someone's tone. Um, and that's why I just love doing the lives.
Okay.
People could make an opinion, but the
Well,
word narcissist, I think, is tossed around too much,
it
and
is.
that
It
takes
is. And I'm
away,
agreeing with you on that.
and
I
it
really
takes
am.
away from the true narcissism.
Yeah. So, I mean, I appreciate you coming up. Madsy, go ahead. Ask him, talk to him. I'm going to grab some. And I really appreciate you coming up. I really do. And Riley and I have been friends now because he thought I was going to eat him up and spit him out on my panel too. But I didn't.
Riley
Yeah.
is amazing. He
Riley
actually
is.
helped me.
Yeah, he's a really, really good friend of mine, and I really do care for him. Madsy, same way. And just, he comes up and we just BS all the time. We don't, sometimes we talk about the show and sometimes we just BSing. But go ahead, Madsy. I'm going to grab some coffee and have a talk with Josh.
Okay. Okay. Well, enjoy your coffee. Well, now I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn. Yeah. So in the season, actually no, forget
Mhm.
that. So from your relationship with Lily, what would you say that you've learned about yourself?
That's good. That's what I've been talking about on live. So I've been kind of using this therapy. So after the tell-all, I just kind of took that opportunity. I was like, you know what? I need to reevaluate my life, figure out what did I do wrong. So, I took a look at all my relationships. I didn't worry about what they did wrong in the relationship. I just focused on myself. So I had to humble myself. I had to admit my faults. I had to just kind of like break myself down. And, like I discovered, I was the type that would jump into a relationship because I didn't want to be alone. And once I was in that relationship, I never wanted to give up. So I always fought to keep it. Even if they said, I don't want to be with you or let's break up, I was the one to be like, no, no, we can make it work. Things can change. Let's be positive. And that would make it more toxic. So I've learned if I'm in a relationship and someone says, I don't want to be with you or I want a divorce, I'm like, okay, obviously you don't want to be with me, so it's not worth fighting for. And it's just best to walk away. Um, I've learned, about being more patient, things like that. So I spent these months focusing on what I need. And, I've kind of learned I have to focus on my happiness. I'm the type of person that wants everyone happy, puts everybody first, and I'm on the back burner, which I'll still do because it's what I like to do. But I need to put myself on this front burner as well. So that's going to take time to kind of figure out how to balance all that. Um, I know now that I need to build a true friendship. That's the most important thing. Have a best friend. Then from that point, the relationship could bloom. So I've learned that. Like I don't worry about what the others did. That's a journey and self-reflection they have to go through. Um, so yeah, I just kind of figured out what I need in life, you know, and that's why I'm so much happier now. I'm not happy because I'm going through a divorce.
Well, I
Lily and
saw
I
you
wanted,
smiling a lot, and I made
There,
that
there.
yeah.
comment.
Where did you come from? I thought you went for a coffee. I was sorry, sorry,
Oh,
sorry,
I'm sorry. Go
sorry. You
ahead.
took
I'm
me out. I'm
sorry.
so sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, you know, what was I saying? I'm just focusing on my happiness. I'm not happy because Lily and I are divorced. We both loved each other. We just had different ways to show our love. And as a couple, we had obstacles that we couldn't overcome together. And for us to both be happy, we unfortunately have to have this divorce. We just have different, people talk about love languages. And, I don't think it's a cultural thing, because I've traveled, I was well aware of different cultures around the world. I don't think it's a language barrier because one of the things I loved about her was she taught herself English. She's a talented woman. She's a hard worker. She created a business out of nothing. And in China, she's, up there. She's a businesswoman. And it's so impressive to see how many women in China are business owners. You don't see that too much in some of these other countries. So it's little things like that is what attracted me to her. And it's just, you know, where was I going with that?
Sorry, can I just ask you another question? Sorry, whilst you're mid thought
Yeah.
there. So in I think it was at the tell all, you said
Hmm.
something about so obviously when people were asking you about how comes you haven't really been that intimate with Lily, because I think at the time it was about somewhere between about 5 to 7 times you'd only be intimate with her at the time you were together. And
Hmm.
you said that you can only really be intimate only when the emotions are there, and only really when you're
Correct.
feeling that connection. So
Hmm.
I think this is maybe a two question kind of type thing, but the question that I have here is, does that mean that you only really felt emotionally connected with her only those 5 to 7 times that you with her? And is there any other
No.
reasons to why your intimacy wasn't as consistently as what most people would want?
Yeah, no, those are good questions. So I'm at the point, I've done my things in the past. I was in the Navy, so I've I've dated a lot, and I'm at the point in my life, I really wanted this marriage to work. I wanted to be the best I could be, and I didn't want to just have sex. That was the younger me, the older me. So I want passion and intimacy, but unfortunately, yeah, the same day we would have good times, but then we would argue about repetitive things, and that was what was so stressful for me. Like we already discussed this. We have to let go. As long as you hold on to that anchor, we can never sail forward. And that was just really the most frustrating part in the relationship with me. Um, but yeah, I'm at the point where if I'm upset or, I have feelings and emotions, I just want to be heard. And if I didn't feel heard or we're arguing, it just didn't put me into it. Um, and, I hope everyone is like that. If she was upset, I would not say, hey, let's have some sex, because she would be upset. And I would want to resolve that first. So I just look at things differently now. To me, it's more about passion and intimacy and making love, not just sex. And that's where I'm coming from now. And I do stand by that. I like how I'm able to feel this way because before it would just be sex. And to me, that's more selfish. I think both people should, when they're making love, they need to both be into it. They both have to have that connection at that moment. And unfortunately, it was, one or the other. You know, I would never want to just do that with someone just for my own sexual need when someone is hurt.
I
I
mean,
understand.
I definitely do understand that. Too, you get that, but are you aware of the fact that sometimes it depends on the it depends on the person you're in a relation with, but some people need that physical touch to feel wanted, because when it comes to love languages, everybody obviously wants to feel wanted and loved in different ways. Obviously, you've got the physical touch, you got acts of service, you've got words of affirmation, you've also got receiving gifts, and sure there's another one that I forgot, but I think what I would say, despite the fact that I understand your point of view in terms of why you would only be intimate for your reasons, I think this is where you and Lily missed the mark, because when you're talking about her needs, it felt as if like you only was prioritizing your needs over the needs that she also needed as well. Because what's happened is that, based on what you're saying, is that you've got an idea of how you want to navigate moving forward in a relationship, how you want to be physical with somebody, but you've ended up in a relationship with somebody who actually needs that physicality. So therefore, it gives her the reassurance that yes, you are still into her. Yes, you still find her attractive. And also, let's not forget, for some women, the older they get, for some of them, they actually need a man who's going to want to touch them. So therefore, it still makes them feel wanted, because I know for some women, they worry that a man may leave them for someone that's younger. So I would say that even though I understand your point and I respect it, I think moving forward, when you do find someone else, I think it's important that you and that person establish what you both need from each other when it comes to feeling reassured that this person is still interested. But apart from that, I
Oh,
know Heidi wants to say something. Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead. But
I
go ahead.
agree 100% with what you said, and that is 100% accurate. And those are good points. And those are things I'm still, figuring out, discovering. But the show doesn't show it. Like every night, we always held each other. That was probably and we both said it. It's our favorite part of the day. 'Cause no matter how bad or angry we were, we at least cuddled and held each other, and we both, loved that. It was just more of a sexual thing. Because I always told her how beautiful she was because I think she is.
She looks
Um,
like a doll. My question is,
mhm.
when she said on the tell all, when they asked, what was the state of your marriage from a 1 to 10? You said 6. Lily
Mhm.
said 3. How did that make you feel?
Oh, that was a punch to the gut. Because my theory is, if you are in love with someone, you would never say that. And I think that's why everyone was shocked on the show. Um, and to me, there's a difference. I love ice cream. I love my brother. I love my daughter. I love building Legos. But in love is something special. And, she looked at it differently. Not many people look at it the same way I do. And I talk about it. Anyone who knows me, when I first meet them, I say that. So she knew that's the way I was and what I believe. Um, but to be in love, you don't want to hurt someone. You don't want to say, I hate you or I don't love you. And those are the three things I always say. Don't say you hate me. Don't say you don't love me. Don't say you want to leave me. And you could be mad all you want. That's okay. We're not always going to agree. But no matter how mad you get, don't ever say those three things. But I heard them almost every day. And that's what was always putting me in pain.
So, Josh, I have a question that just
Yeah.
came in. They said that both of you, now was a statement, both of you came on the show as a collective for money. Um,
No,
that's not true.
correct. I don't care about money. I did it because I wanted, this is my third marriage. I wanted to show her, like, I'm happy. This is the marriage I want to really work on. And I wanted to show Lily, hey, from this point on, every woman in the world is going to know I'm with you. So you never have to be jealous. You never have to worry about another woman because they know I'm with you. After the show, you never have to worry. I want to show the culture of China. Unfortunately, I went into it with I like to use the term reasonable expectation of edits. We all know it's going to be edited. But unfortunately, after you watch a show, you're like, holy cow, it's much different than what you expected. It makes you open up your eyes and you're like, I will never look at another cast member the same again. And that's why I tell, people who watch me, if you really want to know a cast member, before you make an opinion based off of them from the TV show, look at their social media content, like James and Tada. That's how you see the real people. Now, granted, most people on social media don't share the negative side of their life, but at least you get to see how they are as a couple, their happiness. Me, I go on lives, I'll talk about my growth, I'll talk about my mistakes because I'm using it as a therapy. I have people like Riley I could talk to, and he was there for me during the show. But being on TV, we don't have a group. We can't talk about this to certain people, to most people, because they've never been on TV. Most people have never been in a long distance relationship from a different country. So the people we could talk to is very small. And I don't like people to enable me. That's why,
Okay.
my brother and my mother, they will not enable. They'll just tell Lily the way it is and they'll tell me the way it is. And of course, do I like hearing it? No. But that's what part of my growth was recently. And I was like, I need to listen. It's up to me to
So
decide what
you're
I want to
listening
do.
to Riley, a homeless man that's living in the subway because he had to sell everything because of TLC.
I listen to him because he's a kind
That's a
man.
joke.
He's caring. Oh, I know. But a lot of the viewers, he's just a good-hearted man, and that's what I mean. So many people look at the show. Everyone in here knows Riley. You know Riley. But unfortunately,
Yes.
the viewers, they don't know the cast like we do. And it's such a shame. And that's what's really sad. And that's all I want to do on, my lives is just tell people, look at their social media. Don't cast, I don't believe in judging people. And if you want, everyone needs an opinion, but just
Um,
open your mind and kind of look outside the TV show.
Sorry. So based on your answer regarding why you went on the show, um,
Mhm.
would you say that Lily was someone that was very insecure then?
Mm, No, I don't know if it's insecure or culture because, Chinese, really a lot of women around the world, it's important how people see them. And that's why so many people in Asia, they're always focused on their beauty, their face, their looks, getting this work done because they want people to look at them as beautiful. And me, I was told Lily, I said, Lily, you're the most beautiful when you wake up because you have no makeup. And that's who I love to see the most. So when she would go to bed and when she would wake up, I'd always tell her, "So I know you wear makeup, you're still pretty. But without it, you're the most beautiful at that moment." And that was always my favorite time in the morning because I saw her for who she is and I thought she was truly perfect the way she was born. Uh, but in Asian culture, they're more self-conscious about that. It's about an image. So I don't think it's insecure, but I think a lot of women just in general like that because they think men, they have to get this work done. They have to wear makeup all the time. So they're pretty. But I think women should just, their true self, that to me is when they're the prettiest. So I don't think she was insecure. I just think it was more culture image.
Okay. So I have an observation or something. When you guys went to the wedding, when you went to the venue for the marriage itself, and Lily says that what the night before she told you that she didn't have the money. Was
Yeah.
that true, or was that just something for the show to cause a little conflict? Because I can't see her being the amazing businesswoman she is, knowing how much this marriage is going to cost, not have that money set aside.
Yeah, and that's I do believe it was true, um, because before I got there, I was because I asked her, she's like, "Don't worry, the wedding's taken care of." But I don't know if it was a pride thing. I don't know, if she was just embarrassed, and that's why she told me like literally 12 hours before. Because at dinner they don't show it. I was like, Lily, this isn't. We don't need to do this. You don't need to worry about this money. Your friends and family will understand. We're already married. This is just for them, not for us. And of course, it was more, every woman wants a ceremony. So I get it. And I thought it was amazing too. But I said overall, if we can't get this money, we were up all night figuring it out. So if we can't get it, you know, it's okay if we don't have it. It's a shame, but we can't stress out about something like this. I said, if I knew a week ago, it would have been easy to transfer the money over, no problem. But we're in a tight bind, 12 hours to go. But so yeah, I mean, her business does well, but after COVID, as everybody else, companies, it's just coming back. China's a year behind. They didn't open up until a year after every other country did.
So when was your season filmed? Was it
I
2023?
well, I can't talk about production, but I could tell you I arrived January 17th, and the wedding ceremony was January 26th.
Okay. So Alexa in the chat, she's saying that you didn't really answer her question. And she says
Oh, what was it?
basically you went on the show to prove to Lily that to prove to Lily and other women that you were with her. So that makes it sound like Lily had some insecurity. So did you go on the show to prove to Lily so other women would know that you're with Lily and no one else?
Yeah, that was part of it. Yeah, I just wanted her. It was kind of a way to reassure her, because I'm not saying she was jealous, but a lot of women I've been with were jealous. And again, I wanted to try doing things differently. So I was like, this is a way for me to show her, to reassure her that people will know I'm in a relationship. People will see us happy. People get to see China and its culture. Uh,
I'm confused. What people? Because if you're married, you shouldn't be with any other woman, and you shouldn't
oh,
be
it's just the
talking to
world.
the. But the
Y-
world, see, that doesn't make any sense, Josh. The world, you were married. I've been
I was
married twice,
proud.
and I didn't care what the world thought. If I'm with you, I'm with you. But that doesn't jive right now.
Well, no, it's just I was really proud to have Lily as my wife. So I just was like, let's do the show. I want to show everybody my happiness. You know, it's just I was proud of it. And really, it was I wanted to show China's culture and this journey because before I always watched the show, but I knew it was edited, but I thought that was really the way people were. Um, and again, like they don't show anything about the travels of the China culture.
No, they really don't.
Um, and that's what was upsetting. And that's why so many people speak out because they see how things were portrayed and it wasn't what they expected. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
no, I was just very proud of Lily. Yeah, we had our arguments, but I had that, I always had the faith, that everything could change and get better. Um, and that's what I did in relationships. And that's part of like what I reevaluated. But I just tried for something when I knew in the back of my head that, yeah, there's obstacles that may not work.
So my
But now I know.
co-host just
Yeah.
sent in a message and she's traveling. Her name is Debbie H. She's in the chat. She says, you knew that you were planning a wedding before he even left. The wedding was for like 6 days after he got there, and he didn't think to ask her if she needed money so that he could have that money ready for her. So basically,
Well, that was because before I left, she said it was taken care of.
okay.
Because we had to sign a form, she had to get my visa, she signed a form. I'm financially responsible for Josh. I know he's not legally allowed to work. And those were the things. So when I sold my house, that was like 3 years ago. Everyone thinks it was so recent. I only stayed with my parents like 3 months before I left. So I broke my apartment lease, moved in with my parents 3 months before to take care of the visa, work on the green card, take care of my medical, get my finances in order, and spend time with my family. So it's not like I lived with my mommy and daddy talking with Legos in my attic, but that's what people see on TV and that's what
But
they
that's what
believe.
you showed us, and the way they made it seem is that you had just sold your house. You moved in
Hmm.
with your mom and your dad, which we didn't see, but your mom is really a beautiful woman. And you playing with Legos. That's all we
Hmm.
saw. I'm like, this is a grown ass man playing with Legos, but okay.
Power of editing. Yeah. And the reason I did Legos is because I wanted to show my hobbies. I should show that I have a fun personality. I love building those, absolutely. But do I talk
Okay.
with them? No, I haven't done that since I was 6. But I was like, let's do it. I'm going to reenact the scene where I go to Shanghai and meet Lily. I was having fun with it. But
Okay.
unfortunately, people, again, that's why I don't get upset when people look at me and they ask me. A lot of my friends thought it was when they're watching this for 5 months, they're thinking it's live. I'm like, no. And after talking, they end like, holy cow, it opens their eyes. Um,
I'm not sure
yeah,
what
it's
my girl, Josh, everyone. So,
Oh,
Josh,
oh,
somebody's saying that the show opens you up to a lot more women. So, since you've been on the show, have women slipped into your DMs, especially knowing
oh,
now that you're going through a divorce?
oh dear. After while watching this, I was like, no woman will ever talk to me again because they're gonna believe what they see. I was like, I don't blame them. But when I started doing my lives, people were like, whoa, Josh is different. So I mean, if you look at my lives, yeah, I'm like overwhelmed.
So, was
But
Lily
everyone's
your first?
nice.
I'm gonna ask you this: was Lily your first Asian wife?
No, so I haven't, and that's a lot of people are like, oh, he only dates Asians. I'm 48. I haven't dated an Asian until like 7 years ago.
Okay.
So the first, Asian I dated was my second wife, and she was in USA. So, we just, met, got married, and then when she moved with me, the community of people I hung out with were Asian. So, I dated a Vietnamese girl and a Chinese girl, and then Lily. Um, I got married to Lily. So it was just, in Lily, I wasn't looking for her. I was actually taking a language class to learn Mandarin. Um, and that's because I knew I was dating the one Chinese girl. And then, she said, learn that. And that's how it all started. So, yeah, I wasn't looking for love on the language app. It just happened.
But I don't know if you've been reading a lot of the comments and stuff
can
from
I
the
ask a
different
question?
bloggers.
Can I ask a question,
There's
please, Heidi?
okay, go ahead.
I mean, you've been hogging the spotlight, girl. I know it's your
It's
channel,
my
but
channel.
goddamn, I just
But
said that.
okay,
I just
go
said
ahead.
that. I just.
Go ahead.
Nah,
Go
so
ahead, Nancy.
no, no. All I was gonna ask was that so basically, Lily had come out to say that she believes that you've got this like she believes that you've got like this narcissism disorder.
Hmm. Yeah.
And also on top of that, when she did make this comment or whatnot, somebody else then decided to comment in the same video who claims to know your ex-wife and says that this narcissism like thing that's going around, she's saying that you was that same person in that relationship too. So what are your thoughts on women, well, two women now, shall I say, saying that they feel like you're a narcissist?
Well, unless people actually speak out and give names, I don't put much into it. And my ex-wife, um, we actually, you know, there's a lot, and I would never tell everything about that relationship. It's not my position to badmouth or expose other people. I need to focus on myself. But I will say it was cordial. We had a disillusionment. We sat next to each other at court. Um, and right after she, offered me a job, I said, hey, I want a part-time job just for extra cash. So I worked with her for like a year. So I mean, obviously, if it was such a bad relationship or if I was a narcissist, she wouldn't want me to work with her. I saw her every day working with her
Hmm.
at my other job. So there's people who scream narcissism, you know, it's just different. And, her and I were good friends. I just stopped talking to her because I was in a serious relationship with Lily. Once I got, you know, Lily came to the US and I met her for the first time, that's when I pretty much stopped talking. But I worked with her a couple months up until Lily arrived, really.
Okay.
Okay.
So I just also wanted to ask, before Heidi, hijacks her live
No,
stream.
go ahead on.
No, I'm just
You're
playing.
my guest.
I'm just playing. So here's the thing. So obviously, earlier on, obviously, I spoke about how when you don't give, because you didn't give women, because you didn't give Lily obviously enough physical attention, and then
Hmm.
also on top of this, also been asked whether or not Lily was insecure. The other question that I
Hmm.
have is, do you feel like you did other things in your relationship that made her feel secure that you was only for her? Because throughout the season, there was obviously times when you two would go back and forths where she would say something and then your response would be, well, then you don't love me. Like,
Hmm.
so when you two are going through that back and forth of telling each other basically, well, you don't love me, you don't this and that, da da da, what I'm asking is, was there anything else that was actually that you both did that reassured that you was going to be secure in your relationship? Because it felt as if that security of knowing that you two were going to always be there for each other, it felt as if it just didn't exist. And also when it came to just feeling as if you two were actually connected on an emotional level, it never translated to me anyway as I was watching it, because it felt like you was always in competition about who is going to, it felt like he was always in competition about who's going to say the worst thing to the other person regarding this fact about, oh, well, you don't love me, da 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 da. So
Hmm.
let me know, please.
Yeah, and that's true. I love these questions. I love the way you think. Um, so yeah, this is great. But so that goes back to where I would always say, well, look, I don't think you. How are you in love with me if you're saying, you hate me or you don't love me or you want a divorce? Of course, I'm gonna be like, well, if you love me, why would you say that? Especially if you know it hurts. And that's where I would come off saying, all right, well, I don't believe you're in love with me. But I would always tell her, I know you love me, and we would reassure, I don't think I was never worried about her cheating. I don't think she was ever worried about me cheating. Um, I think we were both scared of losing each other, and we just reassured each other in different ways. Like her way of, she would tell me, "I love you. That's why I cook for you." I was like, "Well, yeah, but you could cook for anyone." When we got in an argument, so you could cook for anyone. I need to know that when I tell you my secrets and my feelings, you hear what I say and you don't weaponize them against me. I said, that's how I know you're in love with me. And, her way is like, well, I need to have sex. So it was just a constant battle, breaking that chain was very difficult. So we just had different ways. We both loved each other. We both expressed it differently. And it was just two different people trying to express their feelings. And it just didn't work. And that's where when I reevaluate myself, and it's like, all right, I need a best friend. I can't jump into relationships. I can't be afraid to still, have that fear of, oh, I'm going to be alone. I got to make it work. So now I know friendship, having that best friend is the most important thing, and let it bloom from that point.
Okay. Do you
Lily's,
still speak to
yeah,
Lily at all?
periodically, yeah. So I mean, she still has her moments, and I'm like, Lily, you have a lot of people that are feeding you. I'm a narcissist, things like that. I said, don't worry about them. I said, don't focus on the haters. We need to get through this together. And I said, it's not easy. We're going to both have our ups and downs. Absolutely. I said, divorce is not easy. And I said, I want us to have a friendship. I said, I want to show the world you and I can overcome this. Because both the previous divorces, I was friends with them. I sat with them, both disillusionments, went to court, ate afterwards. I had that friendship. So it wasn't in bad relationship, just didn't get along. And I told her, I said, that's what I want. I said, I want to show the world that people going through a divorce, it doesn't have to be ugly. We could still have love for each other. It's just we looked at love differently and we just didn't work. So I want to show all the fans that we could communicate. I said, most of all, I want to go on TikTok live and battle you and see who wins. I said, the haters are going to support. I said, I want to build that relationship and it will take time.
So you want to build a relationship on TikTok Live battling Lily?
No, just in general. But I was just
Oh,
joking.
okay.
I was telling her, and I told her, I said, "Hey, I said, we could do this." I said, "Think of it. People would have people would enjoy seeing people go through divorce because most divorces are ugly. Most people can have that, relationship. I said, like my second wife, I worked with her after the divorce. Most people can't do that. And I told her, I said, we don't have to be best friends and call each other every day. I said, but we're in a spotlight. Our lives are different. We're on TV. People are going to be watching our story for years, curious what's happening. Who's Lily going to be with next? Who's Josh going to be with? What's the journey like? And I said, let's at least show people that we could overcome this
I don't
obstacle.
Um,
think people are going to be that concerned. But anyway,
sorry, Heidi. Can I just ask a question, please?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's obviously you mentioned the whole thing about you don't feel as if Lily had cheated, and obviously you said that you had in yourself, but but in one of the videos that I made, when obviously when I was speaking to Lily, she did mention that she had discovered that you had been speaking or mentioned another Chinese woman, whilst you also was living with a woman, a Vietnamese woman.
Hmm.
Obviously during like a 4 year period, and also at the same time, this is when you was also still with Lily as well.
So yeah, and I talk about that on my live. I actually made a video about it, during the TV show. So, well, Lily and I were dating. This is before we even met in person. She was always breaking up, and I always kept telling her, I said, "Don't break up. If you break up or keep accusing me of cheating, I'm gonna date." And I did. So I dated two different girls. My whole life I've always jumped in, one person. And everyone's like, "Gosh, just date multiple people. You're not engaged. Just try dating many people, see what you like." And I tried it, which I don't ever recommend. For me, I don't like it because it only hurts me. It only hurts that woman. But I did try it. So I did date a Vietnamese and a Chinese. Um, but it was all of them were like, "Oh no, I don't, the relationship, I want to break up, blah blah blah." So at that point, I was like, okay, it was just dating everyone. But Lily dated during that time as well. She dated a guy, and I didn't care, because that was before we got married.
How
And
long
yeah,
did you know Lily before you got married?
I would say 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. I'm really bad with dates, but yeah, it was because of COVID. And honestly, during that time, I was dating the other two girls. I was like, Lily was always breaking up. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to meet Lily. COVID then finally broke opened, and China was a year later. So, it was just dating. And then when Lily said, "Josh, I could come back to the US, or I could come to the US," I was already in my apartment. I wasn't dating anyone because Lily and I started talking more. So I got my own place, didn't talk to those other two girls, and she came to the US. And then, of course, we talked about this. And, that's where that lie came up. She asked me, she's like, "Who's this girl?" I said, "Well, in my head, I'm like, oh, she's dead to me. I didn't talk to her." And I said, "Yeah, she died."
Yeah.
And yeah, I know it was ugly. It was a bad lie. Um,
Yeah.
but so we talked about it and discussed it. And because the truth did come out, and I told her, so yeah, I said, "While we were separated, I dated the Vietnamese girl, and she went into my phone, literally messaged all my females that were on my phone, which were like my cousins, my aunts, my friends.
Oh my
She
God.
didn't know. She changed my profile picture to me and her. um, so Lily saw that while we weren't together, and yeah, I explained that to her afterwards.
So, do you find Asian women to be submissive? Because it sounds like you do like Asian women, and a lot of men believe that Asian women are submissive. Is that why
Oh
you
yeah,
date Asian
no,
women?
no, no. I've always liked Asian culture, but I've never dated an Asian woman until 7 years ago. That was like what, 42 before I
Okay.
started dating. Um, so a lot of guys do have that image. To me, it's about culture. There is a different work ethic. There is different family values in Eastern Asia. That's what I've always liked. Work ethics, family values. I don't look at women as submissive. Maybe back in the old days, if anything, maybe Japanese women. Um, but like I was in the Navy, so all my friends, that had Filipino wives, I knew I was like, wow, they're pretty feisty, so I know that, I had Vietnamese, so I know that women aren't submissive.
So, let me
And I,
ask you.
mhm,
Look, let me ask you. I want to cut you off because this is something I'm glad it brought up. Lita, do you know Lita Margarita? She and Lily have been going back and forth on IG a lot, and Lily seems to think that you had a relationship with Lita.
yes, any woman I talked to, Lily always thought I had a relationship with. Lily actually met Leida twice, because in China, I video called Leida twice and, they talked to each other. And I kept telling her, I was like, Lily, that's Leida. You talked to her twice on video call. I said, she's married to Eric. You guys had fun talking to each other. She just doesn't focus on that. She was like, oh, he's talking to a girl. Like when I went to the Philippines for a month, she saw Faith on video call. She's like, oh, Josh is going to the Philippines to be with a girl. I'm like, Lily, it's Faith. I saw Faith. And, she doesn't focus or remember who she, talks to. It's just, oh, he's going to go talk to a girl. He's in a relationship. I'm like, and Leida was upset, because she knew her. They talked, they had fun. Lily said, oh, you're so cute. I love you. You're adorable. And Leida's saying the same thing. And then when Lily was going online, Leida was just sticking up for me. And that, because she knows how people are portrayed. Leida's a great friend. She's kind. The sweater I wore yesterday, the hoodie, she sent that to me. I'm like, it's no.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. You said Leida's a great friend. Okay, you don't know Leida. She's a damn racist. Anyway, Alexa has a question for you. She says, okay, so he said he wanted to show the world that they were in love. Did he apply for the show? That's one question. And then she says, Lily made a comment that he had been on TV before. Is that true?
No, I've never been on TV. I don't like being in front of the camera. So like when you first watched my lives, when I first started last week, I was uncomfortable. Now I love it. I think I'm actually addicted because I feel comfortable being in front of the camera. I love it. But no, I was always a guy behind the camera taking photos. That's the way it is. Dads are the ones taking photos of the family. I just never felt comfortable. I'm a very shy person, kind of opening my bubble now. But I applied for the show. I told her, I said, hey, would you like to do this show? She said, sure. So neither one of us, it wasn't about the money. We were like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. Because we're both hopeless romantics. We both want to show the culture in our marriage. So that's why we did it.
Okay. And I'm sorry for saying something mean about your friend, but
Oh,
my
I get
history
it.
with
I only know I refuse to watch the show. I don't,
yeah, you
because I
need
don't
to
want
watch
to.
some of her posts. Yeah. Anyway, let's go to the tell-all. I want to know, what was your thoughts on Corona's behavior on that tell-all?
Everyone always asks me about Corona or if I would date her. I don't know.
Oh God, no. But anyway, what did you think?
Those are the two questions I get. I think she's very outspoken, she speaks her
Mhm.
mind. But yeah, you know,
And her
yeah, she speaks her
behavior
mind.
and her
Um,
behavior.
I handle things differently, and I told everybody, and that's what the cast loved about me. Because I said, I will not talk bad about another couple. I will not judge another couple's relationship. It's not my position, and that's why you don't see me talking about any
Yeah,
other
it's not
couple.
even about the relationship. It's the way she uh portrayed herself on that tell-all. I understand she's outspoken, she's opinionated, but
Hmm.
I think she could have handled that situation instead of calling this man names, not just her, but her mother as well. I don't think that was necessary. She really showed her ass on that tell-all.
Yeah, and the tell-all kind of, showed different personalities of everybody. Um, but even then, that's still edited. But I would handle things differently. I don't, I would never call people out like that. Now, I did stand up for myself on the tell-all, which I was glad I did at one point. Um,
Well, I'm
but
glad you did.
yeah, I would have handled things differently. Everyone's, has different personalities. I don't always agree with it. But like for me, Lily said, "Oh, Josh," and she always says it. She's like, "Josh tried kicking me out of the house." We came back
Yeah,
from our
she said
50th
that.
wedding anniversary. I said, Lily, I said, even the whole show, you talk about you want a divorce or it's not going to work or you want to leave me. I said, I hear it almost every day from you. I
But
said,
she
and now
was
you're
talking
telling.
about you kicked her out of your parents' house when she was in the
Hmm.
States. You wouldn't let her stay there.
Yeah, and that's why I stood up. I said, Lily, it was you who said you want to leave. It was you who said you want to go to a hotel. You want to go back to China. I said, no. I said, I want you here. We're going to spend time with my family. Enjoy the 2 weeks that we have left. And that's why I stood up. I said, no, I never said that. I said, I'm the one who always fought to keep you. The only reason we're together is because you break up. And I said, let's make it work. I said, so how would you tell people that I'm the one who doesn't want you with me? So, you know.
So Riley was
Oh,
saying,
sorry, guys. I was supposed to say. So earlier, Heidi asked you if you were still speaking with Lily, and you said you do like periodically.
Yeah.
But
Like I
Lily did say that that you had blocked her off of TikTok and Instagram.
yep,
Again, that was very incorrect because, I don't check social media. And then when a post came out, I went to go see, but I was blocked. I was like, interesting. So, it was, and then I checked like Facebook and Instagram. So I was blocked first, but she's done that. She's blocked me off WeChat, which is the only way we could communicate. And, then she would unblock me. Um, but yeah, after like 2 weeks, I was like, all right, fine, I'll just block so she can't see what I'm doing. But I unblocked her 2 days ago because I want her to, I want to build some type of relationship, not based off of hate or, resentment or anger. And I said, if she wants to watch me, that's, she could watch. Then she could just see my lives that I don't talk bad about her. That, um, I always say good things. I stand up for her daughter in my lives. I stand up for Lily in my lives. The worst I say is we just a married couple, obstacles we can overcome together.
yep.
And but I've never blocked her. It was well, I did after, like 2 weeks after, but it was her that blocked me. And it was just something she did. So I was like, why would she? Because I saw the interview. I was like, why would she say I blocked her? Everyone's saying I blocked her. I said. So there's always two sides. It's just people
There's
have to
always
believe
two
what they
sides
want.
to a
Yeah.
story. But Riley, I don't know what your experience is, but but Riley is stating that they actually tell you guys at the tell all to go after other couples. Did that happen to you where you were
Um,
instructed to go after another couple?
they would not tell me because I was very forward multiple times that I will not say anything bad and I will not talk about anybody. But I knew the questions. We're all friends. We're probably a very close cast, probably
Okay.
closer than most. And we all knew that things had to be said. So I can't talk about production, but I
Okay.
think Riley, what he says, I believe 100%. Wink,
Okay.
wink. Yeah. So, you know, yeah, Riley is like Statler, I'm like, listen to what they have to say. I'm not
That
going to
there's
say,
annoying at times, but okay. I'm getting tired
but
of
there's,
her. I'm
yeah,
serious. But
everybody handles things differently. Like
yep.
me, I'm going the route where I won't talk bad about the show. I'll talk about my life. I talk about my life experiences. For example, the 7 months, I will explain that because I'll give the date that I arrived and the day of the wedding ceremony. So people are like, oh, okay. I'm not breaking any contract, but I will give my life advice. Sometimes in life, we have to redo something a couple times to just make sure it's okay. And then sometimes when we talk, we have to try saying it differently, or
Okay.
sometimes we have to reword ourselves to get the point across to many. So, I will give life experience, but I will never talk about production. Wink,
Okay.
wink.
Well,
You know,
if you had a choice, if they came back to you and said, "Hey, would you like to do this show? Like The Last Resort, or if you want to do Pillow Talk, would you go back on the franchise?"
Actually, I wanted to do Last Resort because they do offer counseling. They just don't really show that. And I wanted to do that with Lily, but because she has a tourist visa, she can't work in the USA. So Last Resort wasn't an option. I thought it would have been good because you do get counseling. Um, but
Okay. Well, Michael was on The Last Resort, and he did it from a damn tablet. So why can't Lily do it from a tablet?
yeah, I don't know. She didn't want to do it, but
Okay.
as I was hoping. But Pillow Talk, I would love to do Pillow Talk with my brother. I started doing lives with him, and people are going
Yeah,
crazy
I
because
love your
everyone loves my
brother.
brother. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
great. I
Yeah.
taught him everything he knows.
Sure,
So,
you did. Madsy, do you have any other questions for Josh? I'm trying to see, guys, if you have questions for Josh in the chat, and if you've watched the season, if he's able to answer it, he will. If not, just be respectful. Madsy, do you have any questions? But Josh, I've enjoyed this conversation. I really have.
yeah, it's just. Oh, and the other thing is like what I do. So I do Pillow Talk, but what I do, the single life, that would be no, just because. after learning how the experience is, my eyes are much more open. I wouldn't want to put someone I was dating in that position.
Hmm.
So I could not do that because I wouldn't want them portrayed differently.
Oh my gosh, Chantel wants to know if your brother is single.
That's a very popular question. No, he's been married for 25 years,
Damn.
great relationship. I know I'm breaking a lot of hearts. That's a very popular question I get every day.
So, yeah, okay, yeah. So obviously you've got two daughters, right?
Yeah, I just talked about the one. She's 21 and she's actually going to be live with me tonight. We're doing a Lego build. A lot of people want to see me do Legos. So
Oh,
she's going to be going live with
well,
me.
you'll be live on TikTok.
Hmm.
I'll be watching. I'll be in there and I won't be rude. Just remember, I'm Lady Red. I won't ask you any rude questions because you've already answered. You're here, and I'll just come in and enjoy your TikTok.
Oh, you're
Um,
awesome.
I didn't realize you only spoke about one. Is there a reason for that, please?
Oh, because the other one's underage.
Oh, okay, okay, that's fine. I
And I
completely get that.
applaud you for that. I really do. Because if you watch some of these shows like Love After Lockup, I don't know if you do or not, they're bringing these guys from prison or these women from prison and throwing them right in with their kids. That to me is a no no. But I applaud you for keeping your minor child out of all of this.
Yeah. And even my oldest, she was filmed to do a scene, but they just didn't air it. And, she's 21 and, she's like me. She would never say anything bad about Lily. Ah, but she would be like, oh, I just want my dad happy. But yeah, so she's very, she's 21. I want to, now I could share my life. I had to be quiet since January. So now I could share the people in my life that mean a lot to me. And like Legos, people want to see me build Legos. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Tonight
So,
we'll
what are
do
your
that.
plans for the holidays, Josh? I mean, Christmas
Uh,
is here. What are your plans?
so my parents are going to go visit my brother, but my daughter and her boyfriend, they actually live near me.
Hmm.
So I'm going to stay here so they're not alone.
Okay.
So the three of us will celebrate Christmas, and my parents will be with my brother and his family up there.
Oh my God. So Raleigh's saying the same thing. They cut out family who are too supportive because Raleigh had a whole scene at his home before he left, and they cut all of that out too. But I like the fact that you and Raleigh have connected. Um,
Yeah, he is the big support for me because
yeah,
we don't
he's
have
a
a
good
support
guy.
system.
He's really a good guy. So do you have plans to go on Statler's Tell All podcast?
No, I mean, I would as long as I could talk about my life, things like that. But I don't want to, I still want to honor the NDA the best I
Got you.
can. But, you know, that's until October, after, if they give me a hard time, because I think I do my best,
I
not
think you're
talking
doing a
about
great job.
production.
I think you're doing a great job. Even just watching you on TikTok and the way you carried yourself here this morning, I want to say thank you. And
Oh, I appreciate you.
it's been really great, Madsie.
Yes.
Um,
Am I allowed to ask now? I mean,
yeah, you go right on ahead. I'm gonna be.
I'm just gonna put it out here. You've said to me about 3 times you can ask a question, and then you go off and ask something else. You've done it more times. So I'm just like, okay. So let me just be quiet. It's not my platform.
I'm muting now. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. I'm just playing with you. Do your thing. Obviously, it's your page. So I've noticed that some in the comments, some people feel as if you're not really answering the questions that are being asked, and this is one of the
Oh,
reasons why people feel as if maybe this is why some people feel like you have this like nasty trait. And I don't know if it's because when you answer your questions, you're quite long-winded with it and you kind of go around in circles about it. But what are your thoughts on it? Like, is this just how you are? If you know what I mean?
well, no, and I don't think that's a narcissist, like a narcissist trait. I'm very political. I just don't like to be mean, or it's not my story. It's not my place to tell Lily's story. That's up to her. She did, and it's up to people to believe her. Other cast members, it's up to them to share their story. I just want to share mine. I just don't like talking bad about people. Of course, I have my opinions, and my very close friends or family, they know how I feel. uh, I'm just in a position where people are watching. And so I just need to be more politically correct, I guess you could say. And when people join my lives, I always tell them, don't take upset at, I can't read all these questions. Like, please don't be upset if I don't answer your question.
Okay, then
Just
that's
keep repeating. Eventually see it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I do my best to answer without coming off, opinionated or breaking an NDA or things like that.
I completely get that, and I understand that. Just to go back to what you said earlier on when you said about you had served in, was it the army or the military? One of those two.
Yeah. So a lot of people ask, what did I do before? So
No,
when I
no,
was
no, no, no,
15,
no. That's not what I was going to ask you.
oh,
No, no. I was just going to ask you. So I remember earlier on I asked you regarding, how comes obviously you wasn't had intimate with the lady, and obviously you spoke about, it's because where you've got your own history, you've now got a new look on life in terms of obviously how you want to
correct.
navigate things.
Hmm.
So what actually triggered you, or what put you in the mindset to be like, okay, cool, this is how I now want to navigate myself in relationships, with women. I don't want my relationship to be based on just intimacy. I need to be based on more things. I just want to know like what put you in that mindset to think like that, but also at the same time, in that same conversation, did you also consider that you may have to also adapt to to the person you're going to be with as well? Because of course, however you want things to be, as we know, aren't always going to be exactly how we want it to be. So obviously, there's always that line of
Correct.
compromise. Did you ever think of that?
Yeah. So after the tell-all, because during the tell-all, like in the green room, I was, I broke down. I was crying because I was expressing my feelings, and that's when it started. It was a counseling. I used that opportunity as counseling. Some people use it to bash or hate, things like that, or just stress out or just talk about whatever. I was like, you know what? I'm in here. I'm gonna use this counseling. So I opened up. I expressed everything, and that's why I adore the cast. Um, so at that point, that's when I started to reevaluate myself because they all gave me their feedback. They were not enabling me. They told me both sides, and I was like, all right, let's do it. I gotta listen, and that's when it started. So I know that I need to always. I have my view of being in love is different than love. I know not everybody thinks that. So things like that are what I'm focusing on. I know everybody doesn't agree. So that's why I want to build that friendship to be a best friend first, because that's how I'll learn what they need, what they want, what I need to do for them, and vice versa. And then let it bloom. And that's where it will become beautiful.
Okay, because I know because I think you've been married 3 times now. I think.
Yeah, that was my third.
Yes.
So what have you now? So from these 3 relationships, these 3 marriages, what did you now learn about yourself that you could improve on, for the future of your future relationships?
Um, I used to not like hearing what people had to say, if it was bad, like I tell my daughter, I'm going to tell you, Nora, what I feel, what I recommend. It's up to you if you want to listen. If you choose, you have to pick and choose what you hear and what you want to do. And it's up to you to learn from those mistakes. And I think that's the best advice I've ever given my daughter. And it's made such an impact because she's more willing to hear it. And that's what I have to do myself. Um, so I've learned that about myself. I used to get frustrated. So I've learned, I can't be frustrated or get upset. I have to understand and hear their side and see where they're coming from more. Um, I know that don't be afraid to be alone. It's okay. Don't stay in a relationship if that other person does not want to be with you. I've found my self-worth. I found what I deserve and what I need to be happy. And that's why I'm so happy now.
Okay.
But yeah, I've made plenty of mistakes. It's just most people don't want to. I had to humble myself. I had to admit everything. I mean, I went in every relationship, just focused on what I did wrong. It usually always takes two people in a relationship, but I needed to know what did I do.
Yeah, 100%. Because
So,
I remember there was one scene when it was you, Lily, and your brother, and I think also Vivian was there too. And this is the scene when pretty much everybody else was in agreement apart from you, and then you said to your brother as well as Vivian, "Okay, you guys need to stay out of this now. This is between me and Lily." The thing that I
hmm
found quite interesting about that scene was that obviously you brought your brother to China obviously at that time to help you navigate your relationship with Lily. It was your brother had been somebody that kind of been like a midpoint for both of you, because I know Lily said
Mm-hmm.
in that scene as well that she's also messaged him too. So my thing was in that thing was in that my mindset was, okay, cool. So we know that Josh has a history, or at least based on what it was shown in the show, that you've got a
Mm-hmm.
history of having your brother get involved in your relationships when things aren't going too well, or when communication isn't at its best. So in that situation, I was like, okay, cool. So why comes now, because your brother isn't necessarily on your side and he's on the same side as Lily and Vivian? Why was it then okay for you to be like, okay, well now, why was it then okay for you to be like, okay, you know what? With that being said, I don't care about your opinions no more. This is now between me and Lily. Can you explain that, please?
Yeah, and that's part of like what I would do. I just didn't want to hear what people had to say. And I was in that scene also, granted the time frame that was being filmed, the moment I landed, it was pure stress. It's not easy being filmed 24/7. Have every conversation you have wrenches thrown in to create drama. That's not easy. Um, I just wanted to spend time with Lily. I wanted my brother to enjoy China, and it's just very frustrating. So all that builds up, and then to have that discussion about the ex-girlfriend, which was already discussed before marriage, knowing it's going to be on TV, that's even more frustrating. So I was always the type that let it build up, and I was like, I can't take it anymore. I'm ticked off. So, and that's why I came that way. But those are the things that I've reflected on, and that's why I always say, okay, I got to be more patient. I got to hear what they're saying.
Josh,
So
I
I
have
just
a
use,
question. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
thought you could finish.
oh, and that's part of my growth that I kind of discovered. So I just take bad situations and make the best out of it. All you could do is learn. If I sat there and was like, oh, this filming was awful, I hate it, I don't like this, and just move on with my life, I would have continued having the same patterns in relationships. So I would tell people don't do the show, but I don't regret it, because if I did not do it, I would not have learned from my mistakes, and I would just continued the same dating patterns and be the same person I've always been. So I don't regret it.
Well, lesson learned. Alexa has a question for you. Well, she
Mhm.
said people are asking if Josh would go for alimony with the divorce since he wasn't working while married and Lily supported him. You were only married 10 months. Well, I think
No, we
that's what
were married longer. We were married like a year and a half.
she said. 10 months. Okay, that's what she said on her IG. But okay, a year and a half.
Um, wait, let
Uh,
me see. Let me make sure. I'm honestly bad with dates. I could tell you the exact date.
well, are you going to seek spousal support or any kind of alimony? Oh, he's actually checking the dates.
Mm-hmm. Sure is, sure is. Listen, everyone that's watching right now, I hope everyone's obviously liked the stream. To be honest with you, do you know what I mean? This is obviously top notch. And I think obviously we all have to give massive credit to Heidi and Riley here for making content
Yeah,
today.
but this was very unexpected. And Matty, I'm glad you were here. I'm glad you're here because that way you get to speak with them.
Yeah,
And
of
then,
course.
you
Yeah,
could get,
April 23. I'm sorry to cut you off.
okay, that's okay. April 23. So, yeah, that's a year and a half. Why in the hell did she say 10 months? But anyway, are you going to
Hmm.
seek alimony?
No, I don't believe in that. Maybe
Okay.
if it was I'm not one to ever sue. I was, you know, I could have two occupations where I could have sued. I just don't believe in that. I just believe in focusing on myself, you know, because I can work, right now, I'm going to do, looking for jobs remote, I could go get a job. That's not an issue. I'll be teaching English online. So that would just be ridiculous and petty of me.
So the answer is no. It'll be ridiculous of petty of him. Madsy Riley has a question for you in the chat. I've just highlighted it.
What? Did you
He
tell him?
says,
Did you tell him about the upcoming meeting? You have what? What? Did I? What? I don't know what he's talking about. Do I have a meeting? Who do I have a meeting with? I'm a bit confused. I don't know what's going on here. Who have I got? Who have I got a
he's
meeting
in
with?
the chat trying to start trouble, probably.
I have
You know
no
how
idea what he's
Riley
talking
is.
about. Um, yeah, I don't have no
Thank
niece.
you, Alexa. It was really unexpected, and I really want to thank Josh, and I want to thank Riley. And Josh, just know, just like Riley, you are welcome in the chat anytime. People might be still asking you questions, but you're welcome here anytime.
Oh, I appreciate it. And yeah, even when I tell people with my lives, I'm like, hey, you can hear me repeat myself. People are just joining, people are still finishing the show. In a couple weeks, I'll shy away and just focus on my Lego builds and magic tricks on Instagram, things like that. But
Okay.
now it's just going to be repetitive, same questions, and I don't mind because people watch. You guys spent 5 months watching this show. You have
Yes, we did.
questions. So
Yes, we
I
did.
believe you guys deserve answers. So a lot of cast members, they just kind of drop it off or they don't talk. People send me a message, I'll do my best to reply. Uh, I just believe in being kind. People take time to send me a message, so I deserve to at least reply back.
Yep, I'm trying to find your TikTok
Um,
so I can drop your link so they can follow you
Yeah,
on
it's
TikTok.
Josh 90 Day TOW, and
Yep.
that's the same for Instagram.
sorry. So, wait, do you know if you're? Wait, do you plan on coming back for another season of 90, or are you done with the show now?
Yeah, I couldn't do that to someone else if I was in a relationship with them. I just
Okay,
could not.
so
But I would do pillow talk.
okay. Oh, okay. So you do. Okay, all right. Well, just out of curiosity, when does your contract finish?
October.
October next year.
Hmm.
God deadly damn. Okay, so
So I just can't talk about production. That's all.
yeah, no. That's what I'm asking when your contract finishes.
Hmm.
Just let me know where we can have a really deep conversation about the other parts of the show, because we all understand that, and things is obviously, like you said yourself, everything that's filmed is real. It's just that the editing is obviously what then plays the part in terms of what we see. So I was definitely curious to find out what your perspective was going to be based on based on how they obviously had showing you on screen. Do you see what I'm saying? But I know obviously you can't necessarily speak about that stuff right now. That's why I was
Hmm.
curious about when it was over. So therefore, maybe we would be able to bring you back on Heidi's channel. To be fair, because I feel like it's only right to come back in this one,
Yeah.
and
So
then
definitely,
and then have that touch
if you
up.
two send me, oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah, if
that's
you
it. Go.
two send me messages, that way I could follow you, and have you guys, as my contacts. Yeah, you guys could always ask me questions.
Yeah, because I
Yep.
think
And Alexa just gave you a compliment. She says, I have to say to Josh that he's turned around a lot of fans who are 100% Lily fans to now a lot of Josh fans too. So, okay.
Yeah, and I tell my fans too, and that's what I love. There's everyone who follows me is so kind, and I always tell them, please don't ever say anything bad about Lily or Vivian. I will stand up for them, and that's what I love about the following that supports me, because I tell them, I'm like, be a Lily fan as well, because we were a cute couple, we tried our best, it just didn't work, but
Yep. So I guess Alexa has watched a lot of lives that you've been doing. And I
thanks,
did.
Alexa.
Yeah, so I do. I follow you on TikTok, and I wasn't being rude. So I don't know what was asked before I came in, but you were like, Lady Red, you watched 30 minutes of a TV show. And I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. And I
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll use some major sarcasm, but like the really mean people, I'm like, oh, there's some cruel. I'll be like, all right, so you want to believe this 100%? Hey, I got an island I'm gonna sell.
oh, yeah, because I got
250
mean
bucks.
after that. Yeah, I got mean after that. I was like, okay. Look, I did. I got mean after that. I said, let me get out of here before I go off. So I left. But
Yeah,
no.
and a lot of people will send me a message, hey, because the mods do all the muting. And
Hmm.
there's somebody, I was muted. I was like, well, just let the mod know, because I want to hear your opinion. Just don't, be mean. And again, sometimes it comes off and like, oh, someone will be like, no, I think they meant that. Like, oh, hey, I'm sorry, so and so. I didn't mean to, be sarcastic with you. It's just the way it came off. Because that's nonstop.
Yeah,
And
and
I
you've
just
gotten
want
a
to
lot
promote.
of great views on TikTok. You really have. And I dropped your TikTok link for anybody that wants to follow Josh. You can also follow him on IG. But
um
you really are soft spoken. And I meant to tell you that even on
Oh, I
TikTok,
appreciate it.
you're very soft spoken.
Yeah,
um
I'm getting really comfortable with it. I think I actually have an addiction. to go on live. I need help.
But you're good.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to ask. So, obviously, you just spoke about on TikTok, you have mods who can sometimes block people from saying certain things.
I just asked them to mute if they're being mean
Oh,
or
okay. So,
disrespectful.
how do you know if your mods are being fair? Because I know like sometimes people can come in with a question of some kind, and because it's texting, it may come across as if someone's being mean, but really and truly they're just asking a question. How do your mods kind of identify that? You know what I mean? Oh, I mean, and the only reason I'm asking is because you spoke about how one of the things that you've learned from your free relationships is being able to is being able to actually listen to other people's obviously criticism,
Hmm.
do you know what I mean, and not be so emotional about it. So if people are coming on your live now and they are trying to ask Jimmy a question, and don't get me wrong, because you are part of 90 Day Fiance, I do know myself that when people do come and ask questions, sometimes they can feel more harsh than what they are, but really and truly, it's just somebody just asking a question. Because also on the other flip side is that when people watch the show, some people obviously get very involved with what's going on. So therefore, when
Mm,
people ask questions, they may ask it with a certain tone of aggression, but it's not because they mean to be mean. It's just that they're just like, you know what, because he did this in this scene, I have to know what he did. And I can assume maybe when Heidi came in your life as Red, whatever it was, maybe when she was typing her stuff, it was more of like, well, I want to know this because of this is what do you know what I mean? So it's not because
mm.
they're trying to be mean to you. They just want to know something just to let them move on, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
how does your
and that
mods
is a good
know?
question. So, I do try telling them, because they know I do believe in everyone having opinions, so I just tell them, if someone's, being very ignorant, making, a lot of references in an impolite way against like gays, I'm
Mm,
like, just mute them.
yeah.
It's one question that's, a lot of people are like, hey, do you like men? Are you asexual? Do you feel that you're gay? That is cool. I don't take any disrespect in that.
Oh,
But
I
when they're
didn't even
coming
say
in,
that.
yeah, but like when some people say, hey, why are you in the closet? I'll be like, hey, I'm actually in my living room right now. My closet's in my bedroom. But if you're referring to, me being a homosexual, no, I like women. That's the type of response, a little sarcasm, some fun, but answer their question.
That's fair enough. I mean, so
Okay.
my last question, to be fair. So when are you going to be running for president or mayor? Because man, the way you speak is so political. Like, when are you running, bro?
I know. And my brother's the same way. That's why like the tell all they didn't show much of him talking either, you know, because we like to do devil's advocate. And that's why so many people come to me for advice because they know I won't talk about what they tell me. It's, definitely a secret. I'm like a black hole. But I don't enable, and I'll be like, hey, I think you did this wrong. Maybe I would have approached it differently. And that's the way my brother is too. And that's why so many people feel comfortable talking to us. Um, but my brother and my mom is different. You know, listening to family is much different than listening to a friend that won't enable you.
So,
And
what is your definition of a friend?
a friend is someone that, and I've reevaluated that. That's why my very circle of friends is very small now, because my whole life I've always considered everyone a friend. I would do anything for them. Hey Josh, I need your help. Okay, but no one was ever really there for me. I've always held in my emotions. I've gone through depression because I don't have people I truly trust to keep my secrets or someone that was there for me in a time of need. Like I've never asked for help. I'm just the one that gives help. And, I've been able to talk to people like Riley. The military has good programs for people to talk to. I have the cast now and that's gone through what I've gone through, so I could talk to them. So, that's helped a lot as well. But being in the military, you have a special bond. You see so many people with depression. I can't even count how many people aren't here anymore because of, depression. So
But that's still
now,
not telling me your definition of
oh,
a friend.
sorry, I kind of ramble on. So,
Okay.
so to me now, a friend would be someone I can trust that I could talk to, know that will be there for me. I don't expect them to come running to me, but someone, if I need to speak, like Riley, I could call him and he will listen to me and he will tell me, you know, what I did wrong or how I could do things differently. To me, that's a friend. I
Yes.
haven't met him in person yet, and that's okay. But he's someone I trust, someone I know that would be there for me if I need it. To me, that's a friend, and that's why my circle is very small.
And that's my definition. A definition of a friend is someone who's going to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. Someone that you know that's going to be there, the good times, the bad times. Somebody that you know you can depend on and they can depend on you. And that's a friend to me.